Oh, well, hello, all my wonderful, beautiful broskis and broskies of the Dark Shadow Maverick Nation. I am the Dark Shadow Maverick, and it is now time for part 2 of What If. Carnage Izuku was in modern Mortal Kombat. Part 2, basically, that's part 2 of that. Basically, at the end of part 1, basically got introduced to a lot of things. Izuku knows that he is being followed by a certain RoboCop. But a certain RoboCop just so happens to have been told about certain cases. Very dangerous alien jungle hunter type creatures. They seem to kill more for sport than anything else, even to the point of making collections of their own past kills. Case in point, giant loads of skulls from their past victims that have been found recently. And it just so happens that one day, Izuku just happens to get in contact with RoboCop about this whole ordeal, seeing if they can find the jungle hunting predator, as they've been called. Izuku and Carnage love the challenge. And all Cassidy has to do is, be mother. All she has to do is be the mother that she is. Their child, Izuku. While they're gone. Well, basically, whenever Izuku and Carnage get to the rendezvous point where RoboCop is and a bunch of other people, like special forces unit people, so yeah, basically just get informed. RoboCop basically just gets informed that, several squadrons of special forces guys went in there, and whenever several robots with cameras on them went to look over and figure out what happened to these guys, why they haven't come out yet. Basically, the reason why that is because, well, they were right about one thing. the Predator does indeed like to kill for sport. And surprisingly, these ones don't seem to be that of the bad bloods of the Yautja. They do seem indeed to be like very honorable type of kills. So it's nowhere nearly as brutal as what it would seem to other people. And it also seems to be very methodically planned out. But it also seems like there's more than just the Yautja, these predators that are killing the people. Because some killings don't exactly seem like the type of killings that these predator creatures would be doing. And some of them even seem to involve some sort of acid. And even some creatures spawn from the very insides of the Special Forces members, and that's whenever a very old file is brought up. A file on an alien creature known as a xenomorph. And, it's said that xenomorph drones have the ability to create face huggers. Basically, they do what the name basically says. They grab onto your face, and, well, what happens next is the reason why there were so many weird alien mutant-looking motherfuckers going around killing their guys, along with the alien drones. So, on top of the random jungle hunter predator Yautja guys, they also seem to have basically confirmed that there's indeed some, freaking xenomorph drone activity. And in the way the acid seems to have been used, it's almost as if the Predator was able... it's either like the Special Forces unit or a Predator was able to injure it, and that's how it was able to fling around its acid. So almost as if in a panicked, sort of, type scenario. Like something that the xenomorph drone was not prepared for. However, regardless, the xenomorph drone still did have its acid, and still might have its acid as, right as they're speaking. And this does indeed intrigue Izuku. So apparently there's mutant, half xenomorph, half regular, special forces dudes, all because of these facehugger things, that only grab on harder the more you try to pull them off, apparently. And there's these xenomorph drones, and apparently either one of them or a couple of them are wounded severely enough to basically just sling around their acid blood, God knows where. And there's also the Predator, jungle hunter guys in there, and the special forces that are still in there left alive are probably scared shitless. So, to approach with caution would be the best thing to do, or at least that's what the special forces guys out here think will be the best idea. But, Approaching with caution was never Izuku and Carnage's strong suit. That is, unless the kind of caution being used is the kind of caution that allows them to basically feast upon their enemies after they've kicked their asses. Yeah, Carnage isn't afraid to admit it. He's feeling hungry. And in fact, he's so hungry, he's hungry. Yes, hungry and angry, like, hangry. Because, some of those guys, very valuable lives. And, it's like, you're killing our guys here. What's up with that, Xenomorphs? You're killing our guys here. And also, what's up with that, Yautja dudes? Like, you're killing our guys. You're killing our guys. Like, you're tearing me apart, alien creatures. God, the room is freaking hilarious. So basically, Dukes of Hazzard, Izuku and Carnage, they just leap into action, go straight through any of the barricades, just like leap straight into action, and Carnage activates some night vision that allows them to just freely scan through and go wherever. And the more and more, the deeper and deeper they get into this cave area, it does indeed seem like they might have found something. What seems to be a crashed aircraft, no ordinary aircraft. It seems like a spacecraft. And the moment they enter the spacecraft, they see a bunch of, either unconscious or dead Yautja. And basically, whatever the hell these guys were doing, something happened, and they just basically got sent spiraling downward straight into here. Is basically what Izuku and Carnage are getting from this. These guys may be the jungle hunter type, but they were definitely not prepared for this type of shit. They just got knocked silly and are just as sporadically freaking crazed as a special forces people. Basically, both sides are just as crazed and spooked as the other. So it's no wonder that people were, bodies are just hitting the floor left and right. And with the bodies hit the floor in, the maximum. And, with the xenomorphs around, there were actually several contained xenomorphs from within the ship. At least it looks like that from, what little, from the wreckage they can find. At least that's what it looks like. From what little they could find of the xenomorphs, anything of the xenomorphs. And, any face huggers that they come across, they just, blade hands, slice them in half, in midair. With Carnage's little spidey sense, it's impossible for them to get surprised. So, yeah, no surprise attacks from any face huggers. They just get sliced and diced. And concerning any drones with acid blood attacks, or like trying to use their second mouth that's inside their first mouth, like little like like punching holes through people using their second mouth, which is freaking ugh, the more I think about it. Yeah, you try to do that through a symbiote, you're gonna get punished. So you're gonna get punished if you try to do that to a symbiote. Especially a symbiote bond like Izuku and Carnage. They just basically like several drones try to like punch several holes in Izuku and Carnage, and basically it's like Muhammad Ali versus George Foreman. Like if there were multiple George Foremans, and Izuku and Carnage were Muhammad Ali. That's just sad. That is just sad. Got the crap kicked out. Like, no siree, you out of this house. Just beats the shit out of him, ever living shit out of him. Leave no survivors. Because it's pretty evident, like, the moment that Izuku and Carnage start seeing, like, live drones and, like, freaking face huggers out of nowhere, that these guys are not here to make friends. Not here to have tea and crumpets. That's not what the Xenomorphs are here for. They're basically here to revenge. Yeah, these guys got basically caught from their home planet and taken on to the Predator's ship and basically put in their own little, like, cells, I guess you could call them, like, little cases. And basically, like, just, like, frozen in there, like they're frozen in time or some shit. Like the freaking DeLorean or like the freaking TARDIS. Some shit. Like basically just like stuck there. And the moment the ship crashed and all the power just went like all like out of whack. It's whenever these guys like finally like GTFO off of the freaking ship, but not without like taking some revenge before they leave. You know, just slicing up some very paranoid, very freaked out like Yautja, just like slicing and dicing and doing God knows what with like several different actual like parts that you could kill like them with their bodies, like claws, actual teeth that aren't a part of their second mouth. Just bleh. And just God knows what else before they actually use their acid blood. Because, you know, they would actually have to be wounded before they could just sling it around everywhere. Unless they just wanted to upchuck it through their mouths. Like, bleh, like acid puke. They're puking up blood. That's just disgusting. And so basically, the Xenomorphs would have just taken their revenge and GTFO'd out of the freaking spacecraft. But there are more, let's safe to say that there are more Yautja than the Xenomorph thought there were. Like, not every Yautja was dispatched to, you know, basically do the deed that needed to be done. Concerning either party. So yeah, there were a lot more, actually. A lot more Yautja. And that's the actual advantage that these guys have. They have, like, a bajillion to, like, these guys, like, little petty single-digit numbers. For, like, each, like, room that these guys were being kept in. Like, a bunch of Yautja compared to like just a couple like xenomorphs. Not that many. I mean, they're still strong, but there were a bunch of Yautja on that ship. God knows what they were actually going to do, or where they were even planning on going. But Izuku and Carnage think they can actually get the drift after seeing like everything that they saw. They're actually starting to think they might know. And they're starting to piece the puzzle together. Basically, as everything unfolds, turns out the whole thing with catching the xenomorphs, at least from what Izuku and Carnage can tell, was kind of a scouting mission on another planet gone wrong. And so, because of the fact that it went wrong, something had to be done, and the scouting mission ended up becoming a freaking, divide and conquer, like, capture mission. So they went from just, like, scouting out the planet to, taking hold of its most devastating creatures. Like, they had to do something in order to fix the big F-up that they made. Like, whatever they did that screwed them over, they had to do something to fix it. And that's something they never really thought was going to be catching xenomorphs and taking them back to wherever the hell that they were previously. Whatever they did that effed them over, that caused them to think that this was going to be a good solution. Like, Izuku and the Carnage don't know, and they don't really feel like asking if it's that bad, if it was that bad, that they felt like catching xenomorphs on their home territory and bringing them over to wherever the hell was a good solution. It felt like that was a good solution to their problem. They don't want to know what they did that caused them to F up. They don't want to know. That's basically something that, Izuku and Carnage both decide for themselves. They don't want to freaking know. And they're like, neither would the Special Forces or even, their RoboCop buddy probably want to know. I mean, that's just, wow, you must have effed up really bad if that's your solution. That's not even a good solution. That's like a very, very, like, what the hell were you smoking kind of solution. Like, that's the kind of solution where, what the hell were you guys smoking whenever you effed up? And what the hell were you guys smoking whenever you tried to fix the situation by doing that? Like, what the hell were you smoking on both, like, things? Like, it is that bad. But then again, Izuku and Carnage, remember, these are simple, like, jungle hunter guys. And, they're in the way that they're, like, the opposite of the bad bloods, but they're still simple jungle hunters that barely have, like, the laser blast casket things on their shoulders. They barely just now got that. They're, like, base level jungle hunters. Like the kind of predator that attacked, Arnold Schwarzenegger in the first Predator movie. They're like simple jungle hunters that just now got their plasma casters. So, you can't really fault them too much, because, like, they're kind of just now doing this. Like, they're very new. Like, they're experienced, but they're also very new. You can't fault them completely. I mean, you can fault them somewhat, but you can't fault them completely. Is what Izuku and Carnage are thinking now. Because, you know, they're just now starting to think, well, then these guys are simple jungle hunters. Like, probably just now got their plasma casters. So, can't really fault them too much, I guess. And so, it's basically decided that, well, seeing as how much activity has actually gone down today, Carnage might have actually been able to, like, help sort of network something into Izuku's brain to where they can both not only understand Yautja, like, writing and speech, but they can, like, also understand the writing and, like, speech to the point where they can actually speak it. You know, to actually hold conversation and know what the hell they're talking about. And so, they get, like, the guy that they think is, like, the most authority, and it turns out they're right. That this guy that they're talking to right now is the one with the most authority in between the surviving Yautja. And they're just like, you, big guy, us, you talking to us now. And the Yautja guy's just like, okay. And Izuku and Carnage are just like, we think we might know a solution, but if we do this solution, you guys are going to be stuck on this planet for a while. I mean, we'll solve the xenomorph problem, but you guys will be stuck here for a while. But hey, look, on the bright side, there are actually some animals on this planet, you know, that make for very good hunt. You know, some people that are so bad that they would, like, if not, like, sentenced to death row by a jury and judge, like, you guys could, like, kill. But, there's kind of a line that you don't need to cross. So, like, yeah, there are some things and some people you can kill, like, on this planet that would be, should suffice, considering you guys look relatively new, but not too new. And, apparently, Izuku and Carnage are very good at guessing games, because it turns out these guys are new, but not too new. Like, they just now did get, you know, good training with the plasma casters. Like, they were almost like darts, like a game of darts. They were learning how to handle the plasma casters that they just now had received. And now, we're just now going off somewhere over the rainbow. Whatever a Yautjan rainbow looks like. Basically, the Yautja guy is just like, well, what's the plan that's going to have us pretty much stranded here for however long it takes, then? Sir? Or sirs? Considering that thing coming out of your area? And he's just like, oh. Well, the plan is, we basically know that they probably have only one area in which they actually, you know, are doing their thing, like, that they basically are calling home. You know, and basically just to make sure that not only do they end up dead at the end of the day, but they don't spread out to the point where it would become like a giant big ol' infection. That would be really bad. Like, really, 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 really bad. For everybody. So, basically, a plan that we have, we basically do a Frankenstein-up job of fixing your little spacecraft, and we basically, use the engines and backup engines in a way that would basically make this a big old Zarbomba on their entire, place. Basically, blow them to kingdom come with your spacecraft. Or at least what's left of it that's good enough to fly. And we Frankenstein it all together with, our tech. And, use it as a kind of, Omega Super Duper Zarbomba to blow their entire place sky high. And beyond. To where there's nothing left of them. And don't worry, we'll try to find you guys some covers so that none of you guys, at least, if you're not dead, you shouldn't, even if something does happen, you should only get, minor injuries, not actually die. Hopefully, at least, that's what happens. And the leader dude, the Yautja is just like, sounds like a sound enough plan. Not too bad. Then, basically just tells them what Izuku and Carnage just told them. And they're all just like, okay, so when do we do this? And the Predator is just like, oh my god, you're all idiots. He's just like, now! And Carnage actually starts to kind of... And he's just like, well, I'm glad you're having a laugh. And Carnage would just be like, why, thank you. And then Izuku would just slap him in the face. I was being sarcastic. Anyways, well, everybody, we need to start scrounging for anything that we can make compatible with the Yautja technology, because me and the Yautja, basically their main leader guy, have come up with a plan to basically Zarbomba the shit out of the little hideout the Xenomorphs have made for themselves before they can, branch out any further. Basically just kill them all and try to negotiate on what would be fair game for the Yautjas to hunt here on Earth until we can find a way to get them back out into space. And, RoboCop would just be like, well, I knew there was a reason why I trusted you, Izuku. And Izuku's like, thanks, man. That really means a lot to me. And Carnage would just be like, oh, God, just propose already. And, Izuku would just be like, do you want me to 100% smash you again? And, RoboCop would kind of tilt his head. Be like, what? And Carnage would just be like, please do not. I'd rather stay connected to you than not. And Izuku's like, well then, shut up with the smart remarks. And, at the end of the day, it would just everything would get finished remarkably fast, considering the people that are actually manning the operations, in between the two sides, the humans and the Yautja, working in tandem. Izuku and Carnage kind of translating what the Yautja commander guy is trying to say. So, while working together, basically, they're able to do this rather quick. Before, like, the Xenomorphs can really, like, formulate that great of a plan, actually. And so before they're even able to dispatch outwards, all they hear is just like... And not too long after that, they're all roasted toasted. And, you know, that would just be freaking amazing. As, you know, the smoke would clear, and the only thing left of that area would be pretty much jack shit of nothing. And it would be beautiful. Yes, indeed, it would be beautiful. And it would bring a tear to my eye if I had tears left to shed. But it was beautiful. Still is. Beautiful. So, yeah. I actually think that's where I'm gonna end this part. Yeah. Well, at least there would be one last thing. Izuku would get a phone call. And, well, it would seem like, you know, Cassie being very distressed, very uneasy, and quite probably even scared. She would have mentioned that she had put Izuku to bed, and not too long after that, she tried to get some shut-eye herself, but before she could really settle in too much, she would hear the sound of 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better shut your door. 5, 6, bring your crucifix. 7, 8, never sleep again. Basically, you know the thing. The jump rope girls, and even the sound of scratching metal, like the of a sort of glove with knife blades at the end of the fingers. Just like scraping. Yes. And then the sound of a voice. Come to Freddy. That's whenever she would just awake, just as someone was about to grab her, she would wake up. Saved by her ability to get the frick out of that dream. Or what might as well be considered as a nightmare to her. That's whenever Izuku and Carnage just be like, oh shit, we've seen enough horror movies, you and me both, Carnage, to know that we're in a lot of deep shit. There's only one thing that's like that. Carnage? Yeah, Izuku. Freddy's.